commandments again. And then if you guys like what you hear, let's tap the screen over here on TikTok. All right. Let me know you guys are liking the shenanigans and what I called as my so-called teachings. So feel free to tap, and all right, los detail inbox me that because I'm gonna start doing the 13 commandments, and after the live tonight for the commandments, I'll do yes or no questions. I'll stop the live and restart it with yes or no questions. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna start with the 13 commandments, and there's gonna be the 13 commandments of la Santísima Muerte, and we're gonna start with 13. All right. 13. Seek justice with fairness and compassion. 13. Seek justice with fairness and compassion. La Santísima Muerte values impartiality and justice. When seeking justice, ensure your actions are fair, balanced, and filled with compassion, avoiding prejudice or bias, and always considering the greater good. 12. Live in harmony with the natural and spiritual worlds. Live in harmony with the natural and spiritual worlds. Respect and care for the earth and all living beings, as well as spiritual forces that guide and protect you, recognizing the interconnectedness of all of life under the care of La Santísima Muerte. 11. Honor the dead and ancestors. 11. Honor the dead and ancestors. Show respect and remembrance for the dead, including your ancestors, acknowledging the eternal bond between the living, the departed, and the spiritual world. 10. Offer prayers and rituals with sincerity. Offer prayers and rituals with sincerity. When you pray or perform rituals in the name of La Santísima Muerte, do so with pure heart and sincere intentions, knowing that she values your devotion and authenticity. 9. Protect the weak, vulnerable, and children. Protect the weak, vulnerable, and children. Defend and support those who are weak, oppressed, marginalized, and especially the children, as La Santísima Muerte watches over and safeguards those in need. 8. Embrace the cycles of life and death. 8. Embrace the cycles of life and death. Understand and accept the natural cycles of life and death, knowing that La Santísima Muerte governs these transitions with grace and wisdom. 7. Seek abundance and success with honesty. 7. Seek abundance and success with honesty. It's natural to seek financial support in times of need. When praying to La Santísima Muerte for abundance and success, do so with honest intentions. Remember not to covet others' worldly riches and avoid exploiting her name for greed or harmful purposes. All right? 6. Use power and spiritual knowledge with integrity. 6. Use power and spiritual knowledge with integrity. Refrain from actions that would harm your spiritual or religion or your spirituality or religion. Use any spiritual or earthly power granted to you responsibly, always with truth and integrity, never for selfish gain or to exploit others. 5. Harm none without just cause. 5. Harm none without just cause. Do not harm anyone unless it is truly deserved, following the guidance of La Santísima Muerte, and who is non-judgmental but just. So number 5 is the one we're going to be going over tonight, all right? We're on 5. Much love back. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. Thank you. Here we go. Number 4, respect and protect the devoted children of La Santísima Muerte and God. Honor and support all members of the Church of La Santísima Muerte and those who follow God Almighty, recognizing them as part of your spiritual family. Number 3, honor your earthly mother and father. 3, honor your earthly mother and father. Show love, respect, and gratitude to your parents, recognizing them as reflections of the divine and the vessels through which you entered this world. Number 2, venerate and celebrate La Santísima Muerte. Show deep respect and devotion to La Santísima Muerte, adoring her on her feast days and every day, and acknowledging her as your sacred protector and guide through life and death. And number 1, Number one, honor God Almighty as the supreme power above all, recognizing and revere God Almighty as the creator of all things, including La Santísima Muerte, who serves under his divine will. Always remember that he sits above all his creations. All right, so that was the 13 commandments of La Santa Muerte, but we're going to go into the deep explanation. Hi, Jamie Sunshine. Thank you for coming back. You've been here almost every day over here on YouTube. Thank you. And again, Aurora, thank you for being here every day as well. Shirley, thank you for being here. Thank you for telling my prima about me. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. So again, we're going to go over commandment number 5 of the day, which is harm none without just cause. What's up, Big T? Thank you. All right. So thank you guys. Again, we got people coming in. Look, this is what I like to do the most. I like to do the spiritual guidance more than the yes or no's and this and that. All that razzle dazzle stuff is cool. But this is where my heart is at, is actually educating. Hi, Christine. How are you? Hola. Still waiting to have that conversation with you. Maybe tonight. This is where I feel that, I need to be. Awesome. New Bible dropping tomorrow. Cool. I'm not sure. Can everyone write? I'm not on sub only, right? Everyone can write over here, right? I'm not sure, Big T, why you can't do it over here. Is there anything wrong with TikTok tonight? All right, everyone seems to be okay over here, Shirley. I mean, Big T. I'm sorry. I think it's I don't know. Everyone seems to be able to. You're welcome, Kevin, Maria. All right, so we're gonna start with the commandment number 5. With the explanation of commandment number 5. Again, we've done 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. And those that didn't get any of those, the videos are over on YouTube, all right? So you can see those on YouTube. So let us begin with commandment number 5. Commandment number 5, harm none without just cause. Defending the innocent, administering justice. All right, here we go. In the spiritual journey under the guidance of La Santísima Muerte, this commandment stands as a cornerstone, urging followers to live by a moral code that balances mercy and justice. It calls upon us to act with integrity, to refrain from causing harm unless it is warranted by a higher, just cause, and to recognize that every action carries spiritual weight and consequences. As devotees, understanding this commandment requires delving into the dual nature of La Santísima Muerte, her capacity for compassion and mercy, as well as her authority over justice and retribution. La Santísima Muerte, often perceived as a figure shrouded in darkness due to her association with death, also embodies profound compassion and mercy. In her role as a protector of the weak, the vulnerable, and the innocent, she serves as a guardian who shields those in need from harm. Her followers are encouraged to embody these qualities in their daily lives, acting as beacons of kindness, empathy, and understanding. Living with mercy. To live in mercy is to choose the path of nonviolence, to extend a hand to those who are struggling, and to offer forgiveness where it is possible. This does not mean being a passive victim or ignoring the wrongs committed against oneself or others. Rather, it implies a conscious decision to lead with love and compassion, using wisdom to discern when forgiveness is the right course and when action must be taken to prevent further harm. So here's the thing is, we start off trying to comprehend and use love, right? And if that don't persist, then we put the gloves on. All right? I'm not saying for you guys to turn the other cheek so they can smack it again. There's plenty of stories I can share with you about, let's say examples of how and when. And I'll give you a simple one. When I was a young man, I was coming out of a bar. I saw this guy striking a female. When I saw this, I did what I thought was right. It wasn't time to speak, it was time to act. All right? When you see an injustice, me as a devoted son of La Santa Muerte and as a fucking man, when I saw that, as a man, I had to act. And I acted how I perceive as justified in my actions. And again, some may agree or disagree. But to me, when justice must be dealt, justice must be dealt. And again, man laws or not, sometimes we got to step in spiritually or physically. Now, I'm not saying for you to go get in trouble, because I don't want no one to get in trouble. But like I said, me, in that moment in time, I felt it was the right thing to do. As a devotee of La Santa Muerte, and as a man, when I saw that, I had to intervene. I had the physical power to do so, and maybe even the spiritual power to do so. But at that moment, my spirituality was not going to save that girl from getting her butt handed to her. So at that moment is when I, did the physical thing. And again, I did the right thing, I imagine. All right, examples of compassionate action in daily life. This can manifest in simple acts of kindness, listening to someone in distress, providing help without expecting anything in return, or standing up for someone who cannot defend themselves. These actions align with the protective and nurturing aspects of La Santísima Muerte, emphasizing that harm should not be inflicted without grave cause, and that mercy should always be the first consideration. Mercy with justice. Even when justice is called upon, La Santísima Muerte's influence guides us to administer it with a sense of mercy. This approach ensures that retribution does not become revenge, and that justice does not lead to more unnecessary suffering. For instance, when someone has wronged another, justice may involve holding that person accountable in a way that offers a chance for redemption rather than simply punishment. This could mean facilitating reconciliation between the victim and the offender, encouraging understanding and promoting healing. Sometimes, again, when defending those, you must know when to act justly, or act fairly, or act kindly. All right? Hi, Christina Denny. Thank you for being here. Hello, Stephanie. Thank you so much again. So let's continue. The just cause, when harm becomes necessary. When harm becomes necessary, right? This is the part where we get a little bit tangled up in. While mercy is a foundation aspect of La Santísima Muerte's teachings, these are times when harm becomes necessary, particularly when it serves to protect the innocent or rectify a significant wrong. This commandment acknowledges the reality of evil and the existence of malicious individuals who, through their actions, bring suffering to others. La Santísima Muerte, in her wisdom, permits harm in these cases as a means of protection and justice. Okay? Self-defense and protection. Self-defense and protection of the innocent. In situations where where one's life or the lives of loved ones are under threat, causing harm in self-defense is not only permissible, but justified. La Santísima Muerte is invoked by her devotees to shield them from physical, emotional, and spiritual dangers. If an aggressor poses a direct threat, followers may call upon her to neutralize that threat. The harm inflicted in such scenarios is not motivated by malice, but by the need to preserve safety and well-being. All right. I'll share another story with you. And again, all the stories I share are true. One time I was in San Felipe. Me and my boys were out partying, drinking on quads, doing our thing when I was younger. When we got back to our room, we heard screeching. A female was shouting, "Help, help, help, help. Help, 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 help. God save me." All this shit, right? Me and my boys, we tuned into the sound and we honed into the fucking bungalow it was coming from. We heard the screeching get louder and louder. We approached the door and we knocked. Blah, 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 blah. When someone opened the door, it was a bunch of fools in that room, all sweaty with no shirts on, and a girl in the corner, scared out of her mind. I walked into that room without giving two fucks about my safety. I was gonna grab her and bring her out. I looked at everybody and I thought to myself, if I gotta drop somebody right now, I'm gonna drop them. If I gotta hurt somebody, I'm gonna hurt them. Those fools didn't do shit. They got out of my way. I grabbed her and walked out, and we returned her back to her safe zone, her room with her friends. On the way, we scolded her, blah, 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 whatever. But at that moment, I was ready to do anything to save that person. I put myself in bodily harm. I put my friends in bodily harm. And they were down. Don't get me wrong. They were, let's do this shit. Fuck these fools. All right, let's do it. But at that moment, I knew if in order to protect that girl, I had to drop somebody or worse, I was going to do it. And I would have been justified in my actions. And some may say, no, that's not right. Victor, you can't be doing that shit. I felt otherwise. I felt that as a devotee of la Santa Muerte, it was my duty to right that wrong and save that girl. As a man, again, it was my duty, but as a fucking child of Santa Muerte, and even God, my duty was to walk into that room, snatch her out of there, and take her to safety. And I was willing to do anything at that moment to get her out. So if I had to hurt somebody, I would have. If I would have gone down, I would have gone down trying. But trust me, your boy back then was 6'2", 280, and back then I was solid muscle. So yeah, nah, it wasn't gonna happen. But again, that's a true story. I'm not trying to build myself up or anything. These are true stories I'm telling you. In those moments, you have to do what's right to protect others sometimes. And through selfish reasons, some of us don't want to, we don't. But sometimes you got to be selfless to protect those in need. Defending the vulnerable. This commandment extends to protecting those who cannot protect themselves. This includes children, the elderly, and marginalized individuals who are often targeted of abuse and exploitation. La Santísima Muerte, as a mother figure, watches over these souls, and her followers are called to act in her stead. If harm is required to stop an abuser or to dismantle a system of oppression, it is seen as a righteous act aligned with divine justice, and she administers it. Again, I'm not telling you go fucking get in trouble. Follow your heart and intuition. Don't get busted and blame it on me. Dispensing swift justice. There are occasions where swift justice is warranted. La Santísima Muerte's darker aspects come into play when dealing with individuals who persist in causing harm despite opportunity for change. This justice is not random or cruel. It is a measured response to persistent injustice. Examples can include taking action against those who commit severe crimes such as trafficking, exploitation, or violence against the innocent. What I mean is sexual trafficking. I'm sorry, I should have cleared that one up. In such cases, harm is not sought for the sake of harm itself, but a necessary deterrent and retribution, ensuring that justice is served and the victims are avenged. Balancing justice and vengeance. This is where it gets tricky. Sometimes our passion and our revenge factor kicks in overtime. You know what I mean? I help, Christina. I've done it several times, and I'll continue doing it whenever I can. One of the critical lessons of this commandment is understanding the fine line between justice and vengeance. While justice seeks to restore balance, vengeance often stems from a desire to inflict pain for personal satisfaction. La Santísima Muerte teaches that while harm may sometimes be necessary, it should never be motivated by hatred or spite. And again, sometimes we hate individuals because they got better cars than us, better clothes than us. They got a better man, a better woman. Like, fuck that fool. I'm a blah, blah, blah. You can't be doing that. You can't. Don't hate on others because they got it better than you, or don't hate them because, I don't know, they're taller than you, they're better looking than you. I don't know. Don't do it. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Buenas noches. Justice and restoration. True justice aims to restore order, to heal wounds, and to prevent future harm. When calling upon La Santísima Muerte for justice, devotees are encouraged to focus on the outcome, restoration of peace, protection of the innocent, and deterrence of future offenses. Justice is successful when it brings closure and healing, rather than perpetuating a cycle of violence. Violence sometimes in certain places is inevitable. Prime example, I come from a neighborhood where violence pretty much solves everything, but it's always recurring. Thank you for my gift there, Michelle McFarland 50. May you be blessed now forever. May Santa Muerte protect you and God always guide you. I know people that lost their lives. A lot of people, right? And their relatives or homeboys got retribution because, because shit, that was the sign of the times. But if you think about it, it was a cycle of violence for violence sake. There was nothing really there that should have been avenged because it was just an ongoing cycle, so we kept feeding into it. So whenever you see something that is unjust, you are in your full capability as a devotee. If you do spiritual work, you may intervene. And again, like if someone attacks your earthly family, you can intervene. Let it be physical or spiritual. It is your right. And again, I don't know what law says, and I guess we should follow the human law first. We'll get to the unjust part. All right, so we have to know the balance and how to approach these things with sincere honesty with ourselves. Are we doing something out of spite or hate, or is it really something called upon that we must do to keep the balance and to protect ourselves or others? Vengeance as destruction. Vengeance, in contrast, is driven by anger and the desire to make someone suffer for personal satisfaction. It does not seek resolution, but rather perpetual conflict. Followers of La Santísima Muerte are warned against using her name to exact revenge for personal slights or to harm others out of jealousy or malice. Such actions not only go against her teachings, but can bring spiritual consequences as they corrupt the soul and distance the devotee from the path of righteousness. The dark side of La Santísima Muerte, administering justice. La Santísima Muerte is often depicted as impartial, neither wholly good nor evil. This neutrality allows her to navigate the realms of light and darkness with ease, administering justice where it is due. Understanding the dark side is crucial for her devotees, as it informs how justice should be approached when dealing with malicious individuals. This is where it gets tricky. All right, this is where it gets tricky. So take this as a spiritual teaching. Don't apply this because I don't want you guys to get in trouble. The executioner of divine justice. La Santísima Muerte is not a vengeful entity, but she is relentless when it comes to dispensing justice. Those who commit grave wrongs, who exploit or harm the innocent, are subject to a darker aspects. Her wrath is not chaotic, it is measured, precise, and reserved for those who defy moral and spiritual laws repeatedly. For instance, in cases where abusers continue their harmful actions without repentance or remorse, La Santísima Muerte may take on her darker aspect to deliver justice that is swift and severe, serving as a warning to others. Protection from spiritual and physical harm. The dark side of La Santísima Muerte is also invoked to protect her devotees from hidden dangers, including those that are not immediately apparent. This includes protection from spiritual attacks, hexes, or curses that others might place on her followers. By channeling her darker energy, devotees can shield themselves from these malevolent forces, turning her harm back onto the sender. This defensive use of power exemplifies how harm can be justified when it serves to protect oneself or others from undue harm. Justice for the oppressed. The dark side of La Santísima Muerte plays a role in rectifying larger injustices within society. She stands as a symbol for those who are marginalized and oppressed, offering a form of justice that is conventional, where that the conventional world often denies. Her followers might invoke her dark aspect to challenge corrupt systems, to bring to light the hidden wrongs, and to ensure that those who abuse power are held accountable. This is not about causing unnecessary chaos, but about addressing systemic issues that inflict harm on a larger scale. All right, I hope I'm with you guys still on this. Stories and examples of justice and mercy. The story of the betrayed. A follower of La Santa Muerte might find themselves betrayed by a close friend or family member. Initially, anger and the desire for revenge may cloud their judgment. However, invoking La Santísima Muerte's guidance, they may find that the best course of action is not immediate retaliation, but seeking understanding and allowing time for the betrayal to reveal its deeper reasons and lessons. In time, the betrayer might face their own downfall, not through direct actions from the devotee, but as a natural consequence of their choices. A process overseen by La Santísima Muerte's silent hand. Sometimes, in other words, they get theirs no matter what. Sometimes you don't gotta get your hand dirty. They're gonna just get theirs because they're gonna get theirs. Again, I'm in the business of rectifying wrongs. All right? I'm in the business of protecting the weak, the innocent, and the frail, and those that need protection from those who seek to destroy them or harm them. So these teachings for me are crucial. Again, and I'm gonna tell you like this. Everything I do, I feel I'm just in my actions. Everything I hear from you guys, I make sure that it's what's necessary to do. I don't. When someone calls me and say, "Oh, I wanna hex this person because they took my man," well, if she took your man, he was never yours to begin with, and I'm not gonna hex that person because you lost him for one reason or another. So there's certain things I won't do because my moral code don't allow it. And in the instance where, let's say, I'm gonna be honest, I am a human being. The money's too good. I wipe my hands of whatever is going to be done, and I put it on them. You know what I'm saying? I'm human. I'm not gonna lie to you guys and say I wipe my hands of whatever, and I do one of this. And I let her decide. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm gonna continue with this. And again, I hope you guys understand the lesson I'm trying to teach here. I'm not gonna say I'm holier than thou because I know I'm not. I'm very flawed. And I've had many discussions with y'all about how flawed I am and how much I try to be a decent human being and how day in, day out, I know that I wake up and choose to be good. But on certain days and occasions, I could dance in the dark. I could twinkle toe across the gray area. And I come back to the light and then double back to the dark because that's what sometimes things are needed, where things are needed to be done. The defender of the weak. Laura, thank you for that. May you bless now forever. May Santa Muerte always protect you and God guide you. And may everything come to fruition the way you desire. The defender of the weak. Consider a community plagued by a violent gang that exploits the vulnerable. A devotee La Santa Muerte, deeply connected to a protective and just nature, may take steps to gather evidence and expose the gang's activities. To authorities, maybe not. If the legal system fails to act, they might perform rituals asking her dark side could manifest as a series of misfortunes that dismantle the gang power, protecting the community from further harm. I'm gonna share a story, all right? There's always been, I've been around gangs since my youth. And when I saw things that were wrong, I did the right thing. Like I said, I've saved girls from being beat, from being raped. I've saved girls because they were too drunk, and I wouldn't allow that. I wouldn't allow certain things to happen. I would protect these people because I felt a moral code to it because of her, right? Like I was bad, I wasn't that bad. Yes, you can, Alexandra Avila. So I've done a bunch of things, right? I remember one time I saw the street vendor. The street vendor was getting persecuted by some local thugs. They were trying to intimidate for the reasons of stealing or whatever the street vendor, and it was a little 5'5", 5'4" Mexican guy that could have easily been my uncle or my dad. And again, I was like, shit, not on my watch. I walked up to the old man or the older gentleman or el señor. Oiga, ¿está bien? No, estoy bien. Fíjese nomás que I go, no, está bien or no. At that point, the fools were already looking at me, and I was like, "Le está dando problemas," and he didn't want to get. I could tell he didn't want to get like further into any action, like right the man. So I calmly took off my shirt because I was ready to do what I do. And I looked at them, hey, like, why are you picking on him for? Why don't you pick on someone that will fucking fight back? And they want to know piece of me. I know that cowardice, bullies, people like that do not respond well to confrontational issues. I was ready again to throw down. I was ready to do my thing. I was ready to bust some heads open. They decided that they'd rather not. They kept going, and I was cool. And I followed them a little bit. They were going to continue to harass this guy again around the block. When I was there, they had no jelly in their fucking donut. They had no heart. When I was, what they thought was gone, they proceeded to antagonize a man again. Again, I didn't stand for it. Because that's not how your boy works. I got off again. And I was like, what's up, motherfuckers? And they were like, oh, shit. And by that time, I was a little bit over. So again, all I saw was dust kick up as they fucking ran. I did my job as a devoted person. I did my job as a son, as a nephew, as a man, protecting someone that was weak and innocent. Dario Rojas, thank you. This will be on you on YouTube, all right? So again, I'm not inciting violence, but sometimes you have to be forceful to protect those that need help. And sometimes it's okay to cause spiritual harm or harm in general when you're protecting yourself in self-defense or in self-defense of those that cannot defend themselves. All right? I'm not trying to give you guys any messed up lessons. I'm not, because I don't want you guys to get in trouble. Obviously, I don't. But me, as a devoted son of the Santa Muerte and as a man, I live by these rules. I've lived by them my entire life. It's not that I'm trying to put on a show for nobody, because I am who I am. Like Popeye say, like I am who I am. I can't help it. I'm built this way. I was made this way. And from an early age, I knew I always seek justice. It was ordained by the powers above to make me how I was. Because even when I was fucking around, even when I was a gang member, I never picked on anybody. I defended those that were fucking picked on. I defended those that were weak. So I was never that guy. A personal attack. A devotee might face personal attacks or slander from someone envious of their success. In such cases, instead of retaliating with similar maliciousness, they might seek La Santísima Muerte's wisdom. They could perform a cleansing ritual to protect themselves from negative energy and ask for justice to be served. Over time, the person spreading lies might face exposure or suffer a decline in their credibility, demonstrating how La Santísima Muerte's justice operates quietly, effectively, and without unnecessary violence. All right? Practical applications, living by commandment number 5. Discernment in daily interactions. Followers of La Santísima Muerte must cultivate the ability to discern the harm, when harm is justified and when it is not. This requires deep introspection and spiritual maturity. It means pausing before reacting, considering the consequences of one's actions, and asking for La Santísima Muerte's guidance in making decisions. For example, if confronted by someone who is verbally aggressive, rather than responding with equal hostility, a devotee might choose to walk away, thus avoiding unnecessary conflict. But when they persist, rituals for protection and justice. Rituals play a significant role in the spiritual practices of those devoted to La Santísima Muerte. For protection, devotees might use white candles and prayers to ask for her shield against harm. For justice, especially when wrongs have been committed and legal avenues are ineffective. Black candles might be used to symbolize the dark aspect of La Santísima Muerte's power, calling for justice to be served. These rituals are not to be taken lightly. They should be performed with a clear heart and strong sense of purpose. Forgiveness as a form of justice. In some cases, forgiveness can be the most powerful form of justice. It is an act of inner strength that can be dismantled cycles of anger and revenge. By forgiving those who have wronged us, we can prevent further harm from befalling them, ourselves, and our community. However, forgiveness does not mean condoning harmful behavior. It means releasing the personal burden of anger and leaving justice in the hands of La Santísima Muerte. It is a conscious decision to seek peace over conflict. Whoa, I almost dropped that. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Community and solidarity. This commandment also encourages followers to support each other in times of need. By building a strong, supportive community, devotees can act as a collective protector of the weak, vulnerable, and children. In these communities, actions are taken not out of self-interest, but out of genuine concerns for well-being of others. When someone is wrong, the community stands together, showing that justice is not an individual burden, but but a collective responsibility. All right? Adrian Uribe, yes, inbox me. Thank you, Joe King. Appreciate that. Oh, shoot, a lot. I lost my place. All right, here we go. Invoking la Santísima Muerte's guidance. When faced with a situation that challenges the principle of commandment number 5, followers can invoke la Santísima Muerte's guidance through prayer and meditation. A simple prayer might go as follows. O Santa Muerte, keeper of balance and truth, guide me to act with wisdom and compassion. Help me discern when harm is necessary and when mercy is my strength. Protect me from those who wish to bring me harm, and grant justice to those who suffer from injustice. In your name I seek the path of righteousness. Understanding justice through la Santa Muerte's teachings. La Santísima Muerte's approach to justice is deeply rooted in the understanding that every soul is worthy of respect, but that respect must be reciprocated. Justice is not about punishment for punishment's sake. It is about restoring balance, righting wrongs, and ensuring that actions have appropriate consequences. For followers, this means living a life that seeks to minimize harm and promote well-being, while being ready to act decisively and justly when the situation calls for it. In other words, practice love and shit, right? But if love doesn't work, have that fucking fist balled up and ready. That's the only way I can explain it to you. Justice as balance. The world is full of imbalance where power often lies with those who misuse it, and the weak are left unprotected. La Santísima Muerte teaches her followers to restore this balance by standing against injustice wherever they find it. This may mean speaking out against corruption, defending a victim of abuse, or using spiritual practices to protect oneself from malevolent forces. Justice in everyday life. Practicing justice can be as simple as standing up against bullying, refusing to participate in gossip, or defending someone being treated unfairly. It also means holding oneself accountable, admitting when one is wrong and making amends. This personal responsibility mirrors the larger concept of justice, where everyone's actions contribute to the overall balance of good and evil. The role of karma. La Santísima Muerte's justice often aligns with the concept of karma, the idea that we put in the world will return to us. Followers believe that actions, whether good or bad, will have corresponding outcomes. This belief encourages ethical behavior and deters malice, knowing that La Santísima Muerte will ensure that justice in some form will be served. Now here's the thing. When someone does something to you and you seek her for retribution, all right? That doesn't mean that you can't do that. It means that now, if you are the wrong victim of something heinous and malicious, you and Santa Muerte become karma. All right? If there's something really unjust happening and you decide to invoke her, or you contact me to invoke her, it's karma that we're going to use. Not malicious vengeance, but karma is going to act on your behalf. So when someone does something to you with malicious intent to harm, to hurt, either spiritually, mentally, or physically, you can invoke her. And you become karma. The consequences of ignoring the commandment. This commandment. Spiritual corruption, ignoring Ignoring this commandment by causing harm without just cause leads to spiritual corruption. It taints the soul, distances the individual from protective embrace of la Santísima Muerte, and invites negative karma, such behaviors can lead to a life filled with conflict, distrust, and spiritual turmoil. I know people like this. They're never happy, always in a bad mood. They have all that negative shit around them. JJ, you can inbox me, or I'll be back after this to answer questions, okay? Or you can inbox me, JJ. Whoever has a question and can't stick around, inbox me and I'll answer it. Loss of protection. La Santísima Muerte is a protector of those who live by her commandment. Engaging in unjust actions may lead to the withdrawal of her protection, leaving the individual vulnerable to spiritual and physical harm. This lack of protection can manifest in various forms such as bad luck, deteriorating health, or broken relationships, highlighting the importance of adhering to her moral guidelines. So if you fucking do malicious shit all the time and you're devoted, sooner or later your luck will run out. It's not a threat from me. It's just gonna happen because she doesn't tolerate her children being that messed up. Isolation from the community. A person who causes harm without cause may find themselves isolated, as a community built around the principle of La Santísima Muerte values justice, respect, and compassion. This isolation is both a natural consequence of harmful actions and a form of spiritual exile, pushing the individual to reflect and realign with the principles of mercy and justice. Like I said earlier, I'm not a fool. When people come to me for certain things, I explain all the things that can happen. But when their heart is so dark and they want to push through no matter what, again, I wipe myself from it. Because they're going to do it anyway, right? So, you know, it is thank you for that, cutie pie. I appreciate that comment. Thank you, Joe Perez. May you be blessed now forever. Santa Muerte always protect you and God guide you. Thank you, cutie pie. I appreciate it. Don't think I don't appreciate it, cutie pie. Again, I do believe in Christ. I believe in Christ through God, the creator above all. And I also believe that what I speak is my spiritual truth. And again, nothing is done here without the consent of God, the Almighty, that sits above all. So thank you, cutie pie. I appreciate that. Embracing commandment number 5. Reflection and meditation. Regularly reflecting on one's actions and intentions is vital. Meditation can help followers connect with La Santísima Muerte, seeking her guidance in understanding the nuances of justice and mercy. This reflection ensures that decisions are made with a clear mind and a pure heart. Spiritual protection and clarity. Engaging in spiritual practices such as cleansing rituals, prayers, and offerings can help maintain clarity and alignment with this commandment. By keeping one's spiritual energy positive and balanced, followers are less likely to act out of anger or malice. Seeking counsel. In challenging situations, seeking counsels from trusted members of the community or spiritual leaders can provide valuable perspectives. La Santísima Muerte's community is a source of strength and wisdom, offering support and advice grounded in her teachings. Reach out. I'm here to help. Acting as a protector. Taking on the role of a protector within the community reflects the essence of this commandment, whether it's mentoring a younger member, volunteering to help those in need, or standing up against injustice. Every act of protection honors La Santísima Muerte's commitment to justice and mercy. And that is what I do. All right, that's why I do what I do. I'm her enforcer, I'm her bouncer, I'm that guy. I'm her John Wick, goddammit. Alexander Avila, I'm writing one, so I'm gonna recommend the one I'm putting out. I'll let you guys know when it's out, all right? Concluding thoughts on commandment number 5. Harm none without just cause is a commandment that embodies the essence of moral and ethical living under the guidance of la Santísima Muerte and God. It urges followers to balance the light of mercy with the mercy of darkness, of justice, ensuring that their actions serve the greater good. By understanding the importance of the balance, devotees can navigate life's complexities with wisdom and integrity, knowing that la Santísima Muerte walks with them, offering protection, justice, and guidance every step of the way. Throughout the commandment, la Santísima Muerte teaches us that every action, every decision is a reflection of our spiritual journey. By adhering to this principle, we not only honor her, but also uphold the sacred bond that connects us to the divine and God, and the moral order of the universe. Let us remember her teachings, striving to live a life that respects the sanctity of all beings, while standing firm in the pursuit of justice and protection for those who need it most. This explanation number 5 focuses on the profound significance of justice, mercy, and protection under the watchful eye of la Santa Muerte. It emphasizes the importance of acting with integrity, using harm only when absolutely necessary, and always considering the greater good in every decision. Tan tan. So that was the end of the explanation of commandment number 5. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you didn't, it's okay. So at this moment, I'm gonna ask for some feedback. Let it be positive or negative. Go ahead. What's the vibe? What do you mean? What's the vibe? Did you just get here again? You got here late, or you took off? Dabby Ariola. Wait a minute. I wasn't seeing my. Dabby Ariola still here? Let me follow you over here. Let me do something over here real quick. I'm about to look her up. That was a good. All right, Michelle. Any feedback? Any feedback on either TikTok or YouTube? No feedback? You got rid of Cutie Pie. She wasn't saying nothing too different. Like, you know what? That doesn't even bother me no more. Hi, Danny Girl 070. Ay, cabronas. All right. So, any feedback? Any feedback, positive or negative? I got thick skin. Let a mofo know. What did you guys think? Rachel Manzone, like, what dreams have you had? Well, she might be summoning you, Rachel. If you want to contact me, contact me. You're welcome. That's what I do. I'm going to say this. Hi, Luna. How are you? Glad you made it home safely. Thank goodness you're home safe. All right. So, no feedback? All right. I'll reach out to you. All right. I've been busy trying to get a hold of everybody. Awesome, LJ. How's it going with you? I'm doing okay. Joe Perez, thanks for that. May be blessed now forever. May Santa Muerte always protect you and God guide you. All right. So, no feedback on YouTube. All right. So, I'm going to end it today on YouTube right now. Be blessed. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for all the comments, positive and negative. It's all right with me. All right. So everyone have a blessed evening. May God always guide you and Santa Muerte protect you. And if you don't want her protection, then may God protect you as well. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. All right, so I ended YouTube.